Hi guys, this is Him with Veritas. Welcome back to the channel. I have another review for you today. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Sigr Odin. Sigr is a European bag manufacturer that's been around for quite some time. They've had this bag through different iterations and through different labels. I believe at one point it was called a Guru bag, and then another point it had Discmania label on it. So Sigr finally has their own website and has their own name, as you'll see throughout this video. But this is their biggest bag in their lineup. They do have two other bags. The Loki, the Balder are the other two bags. So Loki is the smallest bag. Balder is the middle bag without some of these pockets here. And then Odin, which is their biggest size, which is this bag right here. And this is their tournament size. The way I do my videos, I'm going to give you the detailed breakdown. And then I'm going to fill it up to show you what it looks like and some of the items that can and cannot fit in this bag. And then also my final conclusions at the end of this video. So this video is going to go long like most of my videos. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the bag. Alright, now that I got the close-up of the bag here, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to start from the top. The top, I believe this pocket, from previous users and from Reddit posts that I've read and other owners of this bag, they have mentioned that this top pocket is bigger. Slightly bigger than the previous version. I will tell you that I'm able to fit 4 putters in here comfortably. And you can probably squeeze it to 5, but I've been able to fit 4. But I'm going to go ahead and open up the pocket. So the way Sigr makes their putter pocket is that this flap opens up like this. And then there's an internal pocket in here that you can actually flap this over like this. And that keeps this pocket secure in here. And that way you can get your disc in and out without messing with that flap. I typically run the bag like this because I don't like to deal with the flap. And it does tuck in nicely, including the zipper as well. This inner liner, I believe, is a normal. This is just my guess because I tried looking on their website to see what kind of materials they have. They do not exactly say what weave the materials are or what weight the materials are. They only say that it's a nylon material, and that's all they tell me. So take that with however you want to take. But this feels like a 200D nylon material, very simple in most bags. Of note, this top handle does have the 2 straps on the end, and then it has what feels like a Cordura, but it's actually not Cordura nylon. It's just nylon wrapped around and then stitched over the top to give you a soft spot to hold the handle. The handle is very functional. It's big enough to fit most people's hands in here, so it's not a problem in my opinion. This pocket is very deep, as you can see. And I do apologize in advance. This bag has been used for quite a lot, so there's going to be mud and gravel on it. But it is a very deep bag, but deep pocket. The pocket does have a function that I will show you later on in the video here. Moving on from there, we got the front side zippers. By the way, all these zippers are YKK. I'm going to show you that this zipper, there's 2 zippers here. One zipper goes and it's going to stop right here. The other zipper actually unzips the whole entire front panel like this, and it will stop right here as well. So you can see both zippers stop right there. The reason for that is because this panel opens up just like this. It has a Velcro right here, same 200D liner. This Velcro and a Velcro right here. This Velcro will attach to this Velcro. This Velcro right here attaches to the underside of this. There's another Velcro strip right here. The reason for that is when you fold this up, you're going to bend this underneath the inner side, lift it up, that Velcro patch strip attaches to the inside, and now that creates the front opening of the bag. This top portion, you can actually open it up like that, and you can actually have storage right underneath this putter pouch right here. The putter pouch also has a drawstring. This drawstring allows you to adjust like so. And when it adjusts like that, it moves the pocket up, so that way it will push the putter up at the top. So those are the functionality that's in this bag. If you don't carry as many putters in this pocket, if you don't carry 4 like I normally do, and you only carry 2 or 3 up here, there's going to be a little bit of space right here for you to put a shirt or a long sleeve hoodie. I have stuffed my hoodie in here before and it works perfectly fine. And then with that being said, if you're not using this pocket to take anything in or out, you can go ahead and push it and zipper this down. And now as you can see, it's an open front just like most backpack style disc golf bags. Moving down from there, it's the same material that runs throughout the whole entire bag. If you are rough with your bags, there is a chance this material will wear out much quicker than other bags with different materials, more high quality premium materials. Also, same thing with the zippers, so just keep that in mind. If you're not rough with your bags, this bag will last you quite some time. But if you are rough with your bags, it's not going to last as long as some other materials. What I love about the bottom of this bag is that this bag has a very thick rubberized material. It's not tarpaulin like other bags. It is just a very thick rubber material with soft feet. So there are little feet here, but they are very soft. As you can see, I can move them. They're not rigid. They're not screwed into the bag, which actually still gives the bag a semi-soft bottom without compromising protection of the internal part of the bag, bottom of the bag. So I do like that a lot. As you can see how muddy it is, and I did not clean it because I just want to show you guys how much I've put this bag through. And every time I put it in mud or just really wet areas, my discs do not get wet because of this material. So just keep that in mind. As you can also see while we're down here, it's got the same material that's kind of covering the side pocket and the cup holder running as well. Moving to the side of the pockets. They are identical on both sides, but I'm going to break, except for a couple things. This side right here has a top, a little bit of a swoop here. This pocket is actually for a stool or an umbrella. Moving down from there, we have this pocket has an elasticated internal material. Also has the 200D nylon material, has an elasticated exterior. It's a soft elastic. This one is for mini. It does not fit my mini whatsoever. I think the average mini, the normal size small one will fit, but most people use a bigger minis nowadays, so it might not fit in here. So I just put my mini in this pocket right here. Moving down from that pocket, we have this circular round pocket with double zippers. This pocket, once you open up, it's just a very simple pocket. It's just the 200D right here and then the same orange material. Of note, this pocket is made exactly to fit a disc in here. It will not fit a condor or those big frisbees. It will not fit in here, but it will fit an average size putter, driver, mid-range, things like that in this pocket. It has this cup holder. The cup holder is slightly insulated. It's not beefly insulated whatsoever. But the cup holder also has a drain hole at the bottom. This will fit my 24-ounce bottle. I don't think it's going to fit a big Yeti, or it might fit an Nalgene, but I think it might be snug because my 24-ounce bottle barely fits in this bag. This pocket also has a snap button here so that if you don't want this thing to flap around like this, it actually will you can just snap it right in here to hold it out of place. Now, it's like that on both sides so that it's not flopping everywhere once it's snapped into place. And I'm going to show you the other side is identical as well. It has cup holder, the round pocket. It also has this top pocket right here. Identical. It's got the elastic inside as well. The only difference is on this side, it has this little flap Velcro here. This flap Velcro, once you put your hand here, it's felt. It's got a felt lining. This is for your cell phone. So I'm going to show you right now. Like that. And then once you cover it down. I will tell you, after using other manufacturers' bags with this similar style pocket, I don't like the Velcro. I have now been spoiled with magnet closures. So I wish they had done the magnet closures, because when someone's putting and you're trying to take your phone out to check scores or something, and this thing makes a noise, the magnet closures are more premium than this Velcro. Also of note, this pocket is a little narrow. I wish they made it just a little bit wider out here, because and my fingers are small and I have small hands. So I would imagine a male's hand they're going to have a hard time getting this out because you have to put your finger like this. Try to put your hand in here to get it out. It's kind of tricky because the pocket is pretty tight. So that's the first note I want to make. Moving back to the back of the bag here. These shoulder straps, oh my goodness, they are quite beefy. I mean, this is probably one of the thickest mesh material I've seen on a disc golf bag that I've used. And it is a 3D mesh running up all the way from here, all the way down to the bottom of the strap. And it's the same on both sides. It does not have a mesh liner right here. There's a reason for that. There's 2 zippers here. This particular bag is the only disc golf bag I've seen on the market so far, unless you guys correct me in the comments, like I said. If I'm off with anything, just let me know. This flap opens up and now you have access to the discs, to your main compartment from the rear of the bag. And I actually have been using this entrance versus the front entrance. So I take this flap, I put it down like so, and the discs just sit on top of it because I thought that this bottom mesh material would be where I would tuck this, where I would roll this and put it in, but that's not the case. It's not, there's no slit right here. There is also a little slit right here that you can probably roll up, which I did not try. But now that I'm thinking about it, I should have just tried that. There we go. And there is a little tiny slit that you can actually roll this up and put in there if you wanted to. I did not do that, so it would just look like that. I did not do that. I just actually just put it down and just put the disc on top of it. But just know that this material, I don't know how much wear and tear the discs are going to put on that, but that's how I read it and it worked out fine. And then the straps themselves have a load lifter stitched. Now, it's interesting because it's stitched over the top of this here, and then the strap to the handle is stitched right on over that. So there's a lot of stitching going on here. And these load lifters, these straps, they actually do not come tucked like this. I tucked them in because I did not like them flying everywhere, and I like my bags with the straps deployed. So they are sitting in these straps. I fed them through these straps, and they're nice and tucked now. Moving down from there, we got a Sigr logo on both sides. You can put your more carabiners and other things on there. And then we also have a sternum strap with a strap keeper as well. And then the bags themselves did not come with these. Oh, I can't remember if this came with it or I put this on. I'm thinking I put these strap keepers on because I don't remember them coming with strap keepers, and it was driving me nuts. So I actually ordered these from Amazon and put it on myself. So that's the external of the bag and the breakdown of the bag interior and exterior. Let's go ahead and fill up the bag so you guys can see what it looks like. Alright guys, I have the bag loaded up with all the discs. Unfortunately, my bag that I normally use with all the discs in it that I had in this bag for my tournaments and my casual play are not here. They're in my truck, and I don't have my truck with me right now. So I've taken all the other discs that are my backups and put it in this bag along with the hoodie here, and filled it up with so much stuff as I could to replicate my current bag. It's 99% there. So let's start from the top. You can see there's 4 putters up here, as I mentioned, and it's pretty loose. You can see that I can get these in and out pretty easily. Like, there's not an issue. Obviously, I don't have my umbrella with me because, again, it's in the truck, so I just put this in here. But typically, most of my rounds, I do put my retriever in this pocket anyways. I have a different retriever that I use, but I do put the retriever in this pocket anyways. And you can see it fits really nicely here. And it's really simple to get it in and out. There's plenty of room and give, but it's still sturdy enough and hold the pocket so it's not flopping everywhere. Holding the retriever, I should say. But like I said, with the putter pocket, it's really nice. There is a tiny little note with this putter pocket, and I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going to open up this right now. You can see I have a shirt in here, and you can certainly fit a hoodie in here as well. Like, this thing is, it's a really good size. Like, that hoodie, I believe, is a large, so it fits really nice in here, and I can still get my disc out. It's a little snug once you put the hoodie in there, but just know that you're sharing space between the hoodie and the putters. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to show you something really interesting that I noticed using this pocket. Right now, this drawstring is at its maximum, meaning it's the lowest point. So all the putters are sitting down. And you can certainly take this flap out and cover it and zip it up. So when you travel with it, that function works really well. However, watch what happens when I take all the putters out and I draw the string to the highest setting because I want the pockets to be lifted up now. I'm gonna draw it so that it's the highest setting. Okay. Once that happens, I am now struggling to put the 4 discs in. Now you can see how tall this is now. There's like an inch here that the discs have lifted up. And now you see how much space this is. You can certainly fit this back in here, and there's way more space in here now than earlier. But with the drawstring being up, the 4 discs, oh my goodness, it is a fight to get these 4 putters out, in and out. And I have to squeeze my thumb in between here, and it hurts a little bit to get it out. But if I just do 3, it's beautiful. With that being said, I've looked at previous owners' comments about this. Previous putter was only able to carry 2 comfortably and possibly 3. Whereas this new putter can carry 3 comfortably. Look how much space is it. And this is the highest setting on that drawstring that I told you earlier. 3, and then possibly 4 if your putter is very shallow, like a zone or something. But I just wanted to point that out on this pocket. If you like your putter sitting up high, just know that you're going to compromise some space. And I think the reason for that is because when the pocket is low at its low setting, there's more space that goes into this pocket here. So that gives it more room for all 4 putters to be sitting with all that fabric space. So it opens up like this. Whereas when you use a drawstring to pull everything up, it bunches everything up and it pulls up like this. So now you only have this much space versus this space. And I think that's why you're able to fit 3 putters when it's at its high setting and 4 putters at its lowest setting. Because I think there's more space for it to move around within this pocket versus within this opening. So you can mess around with it more with 4 putters when it's at its lowest setting. So I just wanted to point that out that I noticed with this pocket. The next thing is that the opening is very big. I mean, you can get the middle disc in and out very easily. The end here, because there's this swoop here, there is a little bit of a fight because of this part right here. And if you put anything in here, right now I have the hood in here just to demonstrate, but if you are going to take anything from the sides of the pocket, you're going to fight with it. You're going to have a little bit of a fight to get it out. And right now I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. 18 in the main compartment. And my hand can fit in here, so you can fit another disc. But just know that the side, because of this swoop right here, it is quite of a fight to get the discs in and out. Just so you know. But otherwise, it's pretty easy to get in and out in the from the middle. Rear access. I actually like this rear access because every time I put the bag down, this is the part of the bag that's facing me. I don't have to go around the bag to access it from the front. So it is actually a nice function. It does take time to get used to it first. It took me about 3 rounds to get used to the fact that I'm accessing from the back. Because I'll turn the bag around to get from the front, and I have the flap down so that I don't do that. And I've reconditioned myself to access from the back. With that being said, it's really nice, but it still has kind of some caveats. First, you have these straps to deal with. Some people might not be able to get over this. I don't care. I got over it. I reconditioned myself. It's fine. But just know that you have to kind of like move this to the side. So if you want to get this from the sides, you kind of like have to maneuver around this strap a little bit. And I think that's probably why the straps are made to kind of like point out a little bit. As you can see this right here, it's kind of point out a little bit. So it's kind of nice. But again, it kind of has the same fight to get the disc on the end, just like the front. But just know that that's what you're going to fight with. But otherwise, the middle section to get it out, it's perfectly fine. To go over some of the concerns that people had while I was in the course, they were concerned that this right here would actually hit my back when I'm walking. I think the reason why they made these so thick is that when you put it on, this sits on your shoulder plates, your back shoulder plates, and it gives so much space between the disc and your back that this never touches me. However, it does touch me when I bend over to pick up my mini or another disc or anything. This will roll onto my back, obviously. But then when I stand back up, this rolls back and it's perfectly fine. So just know that that is kind of like, yes, it can touch your back, but only when you bend over to grab something. Otherwise, when you're walking, this keeps the bag off of your back so well that these discs really doesn't touch your back at all. So it's not going to be a problem. With that being said, these straps are really stiff. The mesh and the foam inside of it, it's very, very stiff. It is not your cushion, smooth, like pillow-like in some of the other bags. Just know that. Just know that. With that being said, it's actually still a comfortable bag in terms of functionality. It's comfortable. When you put it on, is it going to feel like a cotton pillow? No, not by any means whatsoever. These are so firm and so stiff that you will notice right away. And if anything, when you first put it on, it feels like it's a rock. But it's meant to hold your bag in a certain way so that these discs don't touch you if you're going to use this back rear function. The other thing is that this is the cup holder. Right now, this is my 24 ounce. As you can see, I'm fighting to get it out. It is snug, so I don't know if it's going to fit an Nalgene. I don't know if it's going to fit a big Yeti. But I feel like most people on the course are not going to carry anything bigger than this. So this pocket should be fine for most use. This bottle of mine does have this rubber piece. So I remove it, and when I remove it, it is so much easier to get it in and out of this. Now, it does not hold its shape on its own. It does kind of tend to fold. Here, let me show you. It kind of like folds on itself like this. And I think it's because it's just not rigid enough, like the material, so you can kind of see it flaps around. So you actually do have to use, to snap it to the button here to hold it in place so that it doesn't flap as much. And when you snap the button in, it kind of leaves this open a little bit so you can put your bottle in. But there's a little bit of finagling, as you can see. So once I remove that rubber piece, it's much easier to remove it. But there is a little bit of room. My 2 fingers can fit in here still, so you probably could put an LG in here. But just know that this pocket doesn't hold open on its own. You might have to fight with it unless you use it. You'll have to use it like 100 times in order for that to open. The other thing is that this lumbar support here, if you don't carry your bag high enough on your back, you're not gonna. This might be sitting on your butt. That's just how it is. But I like to carry my bags high, so this is actually really nice. So a combination of this lumbar support along with these shoulder supports here, it keeps all of this off my back and doesn't touch my back. And actually, on a nice breezy day, this air flow right here, it actually cools down my back even more when I am sweating. So I actually like that feature. The pockets themselves on the side, like I mentioned earlier, the mini will go in here. I put my poop bags in here. Now, there's a caveat with this function. And at first when I got it, I was like, okay, it's not so bad. But then I remembered the Latitude E64 luxury bag. It had the same similar setup, and I did not care for that setup. Now, the E64, it was not a refined setup whatsoever. It's maybe the newer one would. But this one, it's a little bit more refined compared to the luxury bag. However, when you have your discs in here, and let me show you how many discs. So I'm going to put putters in here. So there's 2 putters in here, and it's a little snug. It can zip up. Like I said, it's made to perfectly fit the size of the disc. So it can zip up with 2 putters in there. But my biggest issue with this is that when I have stuff in here, so for example, if I had a mini in here, I'm just going to use this as like a mock mini in here. When I take my discs out, if I move the pocket out, I can go ahead and move it out very easily. But if you're not conscious of this, you are going to hit this part right here the first few times you're going to use it. And if you have anything in here that bulks out even more, so if it bulks out like this, you are going to kind of be messing with this a little bit if you're not familiar with how to use this pocket. So there's a little bit of learning curve with these pockets. I don't particularly like pockets that kind of sit like this, where there's something here. If this was moved up by a half an inch, I think that might resolve that issue. But that's just what I've noticed. But overall, it still functions really nicely, and I think, you know, you can get the hang of it, and it works just fine. The other thing is that these pockets, you actually can, if you don't use it for discs, which I don't typically use these pockets for discs, you can actually put a shirt in here. Let me show you how that hoodie fits in this side pocket. You can kind of see that there's a little bit of fight, but once you get it in there, you can zip it up. Alright, I would not try this at home because I don't want you guys ripping your zippers, but you know what? It's just whatever. So it will zip up, as you can see. But it bulks out a little bit. So you can kind of see how that looks right there. It bulks out a little bit. And that's a large hoodie in there. So you have a larger hoodie than that, it's not going to fit. But it will fit shirts. I put towels in here, rangefinder, extra band-aids, extra dry bags. They all fit in these pockets just perfectly fine if you're not going to use it for discs. Right now I have 22 discs fit in here very comfortably, and you can fit 2 more on each side. So these are just putters, so you can probably fit 3 drivers on each side. So you're looking at 22, 28, possibly 30 discs, depending on how you configured your bag on that one. And it's identical on both sides. And like I said earlier, this is what I use for a retriever, and then the umbrella if it's raining. And then on this side is my phone. And yeah, I just would critique and say make it about a ½ inch wider, like out to here. And I think that would be a bigger opening for the phone holder. And not Velcro. 2025, let's go ahead and get some magnets on here, because the magnet closure, I think it's going to be nicer. There's another bag manufacturer that makes this pocket beautifully. And it's not as tight, and it's not as loud as this bag, as this function. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about my final thoughts and my overall conclusions on this bag. Okay, so these are my thoughts about this bag. There are quite a few things I don't like about this bag, and there's quite a few things that I actually like about this bag. So the first thing I don't like about this bag is that it did not come with D-rings. I don't know why, but it did not. However, it does come with a strap point here, so you can actually put in carabiners you want. When I did that, when I put the carabiner towels on here, it causes a stress, and it causes the straps to squeeze like this because the carabiner is hanging on it. Okay? So what I've done is I've gone to Amazon and I've purchased one of these carabiners. And the carabiner has a little clip that you can actually just put on here. Once you put this D-ring on here, it actually does the long end, the wide end of the carabiner, causes the straps to stay in its shape, and it does not get squeezed. So I think that's what you have to do, is put these D-rings here. And I actually like the fact that having D-rings on my bags instead of squeezing the strap. And the little strap, the little webbing itself, it just has a stitching right here and has a stitching right here. So it's by no means, you know, going to break anytime, but that doesn't guarantee for future if you are rough with your bags. Like some people I've talked to on the course, they've had the bags for 10 years. So if you want this thing to last for 10 years, I would just put the D-ring on there. So that's my first gripe. The second gripe is not telling me what, I think in the website it doesn't list what kind of weave material it is. That makes me a little concerned. The other thing is that the water bottles, I don't have a solution. But I do know that this, when I carry my bags very tight, high up my back. So when I put my arm in, and if I have my water bottle here, it's constantly hitting this water bottle. Because you see how much space, look how much space we have here with the water bottle sitting here. This is the only amount of space we have to put my elbow and arm through. So if you're a big person, you are going to most likely fight with this water bottle because it just sits right here. Like I said, I can't figure out a solution yet. Because the way the bag is made, it's so narrow and skinny. Because it doesn't have these big long pockets on the side like it doesn't have all of this and all of this. It's just very compact for a tournament size bag. So the only place you can put a water bottle holder is right here. And I don't know if it would be worth it to compromise some of this right here and move the water bottle out just here. Because I feel, and I know some people are going to use this for discs. I don't personally use it for discs. But I would rather have a pocket that compromises some of this space and just move this pocket here a little bit so that it just gives a little bit more, like if we can imagine here where this bottle moves right here, like an inch up here, then now you're gonna have all more of this space here, more of this opening to get your arm through. That's just my opinion. You're gonna compromise it, but I feel like if we don't do it on both sides, just do it on one side, then we can keep the other side. But now we're looking at something similar to the Latitude bag. So I don't know if some people are okay with that because it's not symmetrical and some people don't like asymmetrical things. So that's my second gripe about that. I love the putter pockets. So let's go on to the things that I do like. Let me think of anything else that I don't like. That's the only two things, like the materials themselves, it's already starting to fray. It didn't come with D-rings, the cup holder, the phone pocket is my fourth thing I don't like. I wish this was not Velcro, I wish this was a magnet, and I wish this was wider so that I'm not having to do this to get my phone out of the pocket. So I do wish that was wider, so it's four things so far. Alright. Those are the only things I can think of that I found while on the course I didn't like about the bag. As far as functionality goes, these kind of wish they were a little bit softer, but it was oddly still comfortable wearing it. And I think it's because the way it's sewn on here and the way that the space and how it's angled out this way instead of just straight up. And I think that's why it made it comfortable. So do know that. And I'm not going to gripe about this one way or another. It's because the bag sits stiff on your body. That's just how this bag is. And I think it's meant to be like that. And some people are going to love it or some people are going to hate it. And it's just one of the two. And I personally don't care one way or another. Because I think for what it does, what it's meant to do, it's going to be stiff and it's just different when you put it on. But just know that it's not going to be a plushy teddy when you put it on, because this bag it's meant to have all of this material to keep the bag off of your back because of this rear access. And if you don't care about this rear access, then the bag won't make any sense, which is fine. The things I like about the bag: I love the rear access. I like the beefy straps. I don't know if we need all of this. I think the straps could be tucked a little bit better, and if they could find a way to make it plush and comfortable while still maintaining this structure and this functionality to keep the disc off the back, that would be amazing. Alright? The straps, I'm okay with the straps. It's big enough, it does its job. I do use it often. I do wish they would just take this and extend a little bit more so it stands up a little bit more, because sometimes when I go to grab it, it's like sitting down like this, so it's flat. So I actually have to like find it to get it. Other manufacturer straps are constantly standing up so you can just like grab it really quick. Whereas this, occasionally, like I think after you use it for a while, it should stand up and it'll be fine. But just know that in the beginning, that's what it does. It just kind of sits flat and you kind of have to like look for it for a little bit. This pocket, I love this pocket. I like any bag that can integrate a retriever pocket or an umbrella pocket right on the side with very little issues there. So those are the things I like about the bag. One thing I do want to note is that the reason why this bag doesn't slouch is because it has an internal wiring frame in the front. It runs all the way like this. So it has one in front and one in the back. So it has an internal wire frame, very thin wire frame that runs all the way around like this, and that's what holds the bag's structure. So it doesn't really have like it doesn't have any kind of plastic pieces on the side to hold the bag. It actually just has two wire frames, one in the front, one in the back. And I actually think that's a cool feature, and I don't really know if it weighs that much with the two frames, any more than most other bags. Alright guys, this is the part of the video where I put the bag on so you guys can see what it looks like. I typically put my water bottle on the other side, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when you try to put it on with the water bottle on it. You can see the pocket right here. You might not have this problem if you take your strap and put it to the longest setting. We got a sternum strap. So this is what it looks like in the front. This is what it looks like on the side. This is what it looks like from behind. And from the side again with the water bottle. And back to the front. So that's my overall conclusions on the bag. I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. With that being said, I do want to let you know that there is another bag that I typically use during the winter. So I'm probably not going to use this bag only because the other bag is slightly lighter. And it has a better foam pocket. It has better material. And in my opinion, it cost about, let's see, $40 less. And the putter pocket is bigger than this pocket and much easier to work with. And that is the Berg Sport V4 Ultimate. If you guys want to check that bag out before you decide to buy this bag, you can go to the website in the link in the description below. Also, if you decide to buy it, you can get 10% off if you use my discount code VERIDAS for the Berg Sport bag. But with all of that being said, overall conclusion is that this bag is pretty cool. It does have an rear access, which most, like no other bag on the market has. However, just know that when you put this on, it's gonna feel like a brick. But that is, some people hate it, some people love it. I don't really care one way or another. I just like a bag that functions. I just have never worn a bag that when you put it on, it doesn't feel plushy, and that's okay. You know, if that's what you like, that's what you like. So yeah, but this bag has a slim factor. It's not wide like a big turtle shell, and some people like that. So overall, that's my overall thoughts, and that's what I observed with this bag. I hope you guys like it. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the description below. Otherwise, this is Sigr Odin, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.